a true crisis that is going on. I
Mm-hmm.
know that a lot of people out in the world are, and understandably so, thinking about the people in Ukraine, especially with the Ukraine war that's going on over there. However, there's something that's not being talked about that I do need to bring a lot of attention to, and that's what's going on in Iran. The protest, how despicable that regime out in Iran is. And I know you being of Persian heritage, I feel are the voice that needs to talk about this a bit more. So, Hiba, can you go ahead and bring a little bit of perspective to what is going on in Iran and how getting out the word is super important to you?
Yeah, definitely. So, the Islamic Republic has been in control in Iran since what, 79 was the revolution, 1979. And it's just an atrocious dictatorial government that oppresses and abuses its citizens. Truly. I mean, its behavior has been criminal from the get-go. The way it treats people, the way it treats women in particular. What we're seeing right now is nothing new, but there's been a new set of protests that have come up after, what has it been, like a month now, a month maybe or more. A young woman named Massa, I'm sorry, I'm going to try to do this without crying,
No, that's okay.
was
That's okay.
killed.
Let it
Thank
out.
you. Was killed because her hijab, her headscarf, was just a few strands of hair fell out. And now the morality police have been very active in Iran. This is not an unheard of thing. Many people I know have had run-ins with the morality police. The good ones are, hey, fix your headscarf. The bad ones are, they capture you, they beat you. Occasionally you might die. Which was the case with this, but people have been oppressed and unhappy for so many years, and it just set off this wave of protests that have been going on and on. Women have been cutting their hair in solidarity. Women have been taking their hijab off, which is a terrifying thing. People have been protesting in the streets. I mean, it's like a military type situation where they're just literally risking their lives. And for us to sit on a podcast and talk about like sex and relationships openly like this is such a privilege. Like the quickness at which I would be dead if I was in Iran right now is like, you can't do this stuff at all. And so for us to have that level of freedom and for me to be in a country where my hair, like, not only is my hair out, but like I talk about romantic relationships this openly, like that's unheard of there. And ultimately, like, we need people talking about this, because the only thing that is stopping the government from killing people is the fact that there is becoming more and more attention on them. Like, they've been doing this stuff for the past 50 years with zero accountability. I mean, if you've ever seen The Handmaid's Tale, it's actually loosely based on Iran and what happened in Iran. Iran used to be a relatively free country under the Shah. I'm not saying things were perfect, but it was far more progressive than it is now. And now, people have been leading these double lives for the past 50 years, where inside the house, everyone hates the government. No one supports it. Everyone fears for their lives. But because they fear for their lives, they can't say anything outside of the house, because you will get killed. You will get arrested if you do. And that house of cards is crumbling right now, when people have said enough is enough. I'm not going to keep pretending. And they're really, risking their lives every single day when they step out of the house. And, it's this awful, terrifying situation. And there's no way that we can help. The only thing that we can do is talk about it, because when we talk about it, the government knows that there's attention on it and it can do less. There was a woman, a rock climber, who was competing in Korea a couple weeks ago, I want to say, and she took off her hijab while competing in solidarity, and knowing full well that when she returned to Iran, she very likely could be killed. As far as we know, she is not dead. And the only reason she's not dead is because everyone knows. everyone knows that she did this and there's attention on her. And we need to keep that attention going to protect the people, because it's the only thing that we can do.
Now, I know that this is a very hard topic, but I really want to go ahead and just talk about this because we really need to just go in depth about this. See, I'm a guy, and a guy I know, if I went out to Iran, I'd be okay in, I guess, this garb right here, because the Iran regime's not going to give not going to give a fuck, right? Because I'm a guy, and the Iran regime is predominantly wanting to treat women as second-class citizens. Let's not beat around the bush. That's exactly what's going on. And so for a woman in her early 20s, same age as my sister, to be killed because a few fucking hair strands, that is completely barbaric. It is the sign of a despotic government that is somehow allowed to still exist in this world when we have so many other countries that are doing it the right way is ridiculous. And so you're right. We can't fund Iran because there's no way to get that funding out there. There are no volunteer groups because Iran is such a close state, right? And so the only thing that we can do is talk about it. So how can we get this conversation moving forward so that there is more awareness and there is more attention to it?
You know, I would like people to show the same level of, you know, you touched on this, when Russia invaded Ukraine, I could not scroll my Instagram without every single story, every single person who was posting on their stories was talking about it. Show that same level of caring here, because in this situation, it actually makes a difference. The more we share on your social media, keep the conversation alive, just keep talking about it. That's truly, truly the biggest thing that we can do.